welcome to the episode of my podcast, Real Impact. Um, Today, I have on a special guest and a friend, Kenny from Utah. He's a fellow Gator and also Project Forward member. So, with that, let's get started. Hey, Kenny, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Kyle?
Doing good, thanks.
Good.
So, yeah, let's before we get started, would you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself and I guess how you got to where you are now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I'm originally from Utah. Grew up in Ogden, Utah. That's where my family's at. Now I'm currently living in Southern Oregon. Me and I got a wife and three kids, and so I went to PA school and finished up school. That was actually in Henderson, Nevada, and then we've been here in Southern Oregon now for about 8 years. And so I work in the medical field, and it's my W-2, and always there for it's been a few years looking and wanting to get into real estate and kind of the whole analysis paralysis thing that you hear about. I'm definitely one of those folks. So just always looking at deals and had buddies that have some properties and talking to them, and just wanted to get going with it, feeling some urgency to start taking some action, and watched some of Pace's stuff and saw the uh, watched his thing about Gator, and it was like, all right, I think this looks good. It looks like something I can get myself going. So joined Gator. It's been I guess a couple of months ago now. Um, so started doing that, and in my first deal right now, it's supposed to wrap up with the end of next month. So pretty stoked about that.
Yeah,
um,
that's awesome.
and yeah, just excited to be doing the project forward. Definitely getting me out of my comfort zone and getting me doing some things I haven't done or never thought I'd be doing. So I think it's good just to get me moving and motivated to you know take some action.
Mhm. Yeah, I love it. Thanks for that. There was a lot of interesting things just in that intro. So first of all, I said that you're from. I thought you actually still live in Utah, so you're in Oregon now.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I still have my Utah number. It throws people off. So
hmm Okay. So you said Southern Oregon. What
yeah,
I guess what town are you
well,
close?
yeah, Grants Pass. So it's yeah. Most folks haven't heard of it. I
hmm
didn't hadn't heard of it till we moved here. So
That's interesting. I've talked to like 3 or 4 people from Southern Oregon just in the past couple weeks. So
oh, really?
yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I've only met one other guy from Oregon
hmm
in all my talks, like in Gator and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, oh, that's cool.
What I'm curious. You said you went to PA school. What is that actually? I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
familiar with that term.
Yeah, it's a physician assistant. So yeah, can, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I did not know that. So, um, yeah, I guess part of this uh, podcast is I didn't even go to high school.
oh, really?
So I don't have any high school or college education, so I'm trying to no, I don't not that I think it's bad, like, I probably should have gone at least to high school, but, trying to show people that, like, if I can succeed, without having, like, a degree or a high school education, then anyone can do it, so
Yeah. Oh,
so,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
let's talk about your Gator deal because like, that gets me pretty excited when someone has like someone newer has a deal like because I've done a transactional funding but I haven't actually done like a gator or a PML deal, so is this
Gotcha.
a true like gator EMD loan type of thing?
No, it's more of a PML
Hmm.
deal. So yeah, it's funny now. I'm trying to think exactly how I came across it. It was a sub two member that and I'm trying to remember how I came across it myself. I know I he was like asking for gators just to get like on an email list. So I got sent him my information. He would email me deals. So I think that's how it happened. It was one of the ones he emailed me, and it was he was having a decent amount coming across. I usually have one a day or so, sometimes multiple a day. And so just looking through those and, um, there's one I was like, oh, cool. And I actually have a buddy of mine that he's got some more capital than I do. And so he's interested in, getting into these deals. And so, cause I didn't have enough to put into to fund the whole deal. So he did most of it and I did a portion of it. And yeah, we just, I had some conversations with the sub two student and the guy that's I guess it's two sub two students that they're both kind of working this deal and um, I was kind of anxious and since it was first one didn't I'd been through the training but still feeling like I don't know if I'm doing what I should. So I just I got on the phone with him. We had a Zoom to kind of get to know them. So it made me feel more comfortable. I'm like, okay, these guys like, they know what they're doing and it seemed like they've done some deals. So, um, yeah, chatting with them. And then, my buddy, he was just kind of in the background. And I just let him know he wasn't able to make the call. And I was like, just sending him information. Yeah, this is what they're saying. This is kind of the terms. And he's like, yeah, all right, let's do it. And he was kind of more gung ho, even though he wasn't even in the like on the Zoom or in the phone calls. And he's like, "Yeah, this sounds good. Let's do it." And I'm like, "All right, really? Should we?" Like, it's kind of I don't know, just always a little skeptical for some reason, which I don't know why, but
Hmm.
it's been going great. And they're doing the rehab, just finished the rehab, and they're sending updates, via email and yeah, so it's looking like it's gonna work out well. It's supposed to close because he basically flipped it, and he's gonna, has an end buyer. It's gonna keep it as a long-term rental. So there, at the end of the month, the end buyer is gonna the end of next month is gonna close on it. So yeah,
So that's awesome. So he already has a buyer ready to go.
yeah, and that
Great.
was kind of reassuring too because he does a lot of fix and flips, and then he had some friends that wanted to get into long-term rentals, and so he already had them kind of lined up even before we closed on the deal. So I
Hmm.
was like, oh, cool, I already got an in buyer, like sweet.
Yeah, that's I mean, just the fact that you actually took action, but it's hard. Like the training, it's like, yeah, I can do this, but when it
Right.
comes down to actually to wiring like amount of money like that,
Yeah,
man,
I know
you
that
get stressed out.
that was I was because like I said, my friend he wired the money. Like there was still a few things we were not wanting to double check with like the title company. I'd already talked to the title company at least once, but the wiring instructions we were a little unsure about, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll wire it tomorrow," and I was like, "All right." After we double check with the title company one more time, and then that night he texted me. He's like, "Dude, I just wired it." I was like, "What?"
What?
I'm like, "No way." So then, yeah, I chatted with the lady at the title company one more time the next morning, and then yeah, I just wired it and was like, "All right, here we go." Like,
No going back now, huh?
Yeah, I went for it. So yeah, that's the most money I've ever. Well, I guess the second most amount of money I've ever wired, but
Hmm.
it was. But yeah, seems
Yeah,
to
well,
be doing
good
well.
job. I'm excited to hear how that turns out for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Um, it had been a few weeks that we'd heard an update, so I started get because he was like, "Yeah, I'll just send you updates every week," and then
Hmm.
I think he was traveling or something. So we got an update a couple days ago, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess we're still good."
Yeah, but once that first one gets done, then you'll probably be like, it'll kind of light a fire, and you'll be excited to look for
Yeah,
the next one. I'm guessing
yeah.
the first one's probably going to be the hardest to get out of the way.
It was definitely had some anxiety, but wanting to just get going. So it's like, all
Hmm.
right, let's do it.
Awesome. What do you? Is there anything like you enjoy, like hobbies that you have? I'm guessing in Oregon you have like plenty of opportunities to be like outdoors and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I like to do a lot of stuff outdoors. I like to mountain bike, and me and my kids, we like to go paddleboarding quite a bit. And then, but since we moved here and we're about 2 hours from the coast, I was like, man, I want to learn how to surf. So I, anyway, started cruising out to the coast and uh, learn how to surf with some buddies, and so that's fun. I unfortunately don't get to do it as much as I want to.
Hmm.
I'm not great by any means, but I have a good time doing it. So,
Sounds like fun. I guess I never really thought of that, like being able to surf
yeah,
in Oregon, because that's something you kind of more hear about, like tropical or like the more of the, I guess, yeah, like Florida, California, and Hawaii.
right.
I didn't, I guess, never thought of it like being able to surf anywhere. But is it you kind of have to during the summertime, probably, or?
So yeah, and you definitely need a wetsuit
Mhm.
because if you want to stay out there for any decent amount of time anyway.
Mhm.
So it's the temperature of the water stays about the same year round. So
Oh, really? That's
yeah,
cool.
where we are at, the waves are better in the winter. So that was when I first, a few years ago when we first started doing it. It was we were going in the winter more often just because the way the swells come in. It's at least I don't know if that's how it is everywhere. This is first place I've ever surfed. But here, well, Crescent City is usually where we go, and it's the swells are better in the wintertime.
Mhm.
So yeah, we cruise down. Got a little RV that we cruise down in, and
That sounds like so much fun.
yeah, it's a good time.
I've uh I've never been to Oregon, but I've heard it's beautiful out there. So.
Yeah, yeah. I guess the first time I came here is when we moved here. So
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah, but yeah, it's been great. It's I feel like there's tons of so many places I still need to go and haven't really explored as much as I'd like. But
Mhm.
yeah, there's tons of
Yeah.
awesome stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, kind of switching gears, the project forward, I guess, what is your kind of goal with that? Do you have something in mind or just trying to,
Um,
do you want to put content out, like
yeah,
establish a brand or?
that's all. I guess kind of new to me. I hadn't really thought about doing that honestly.
Mhm.
Like starting a YouTube channel and putting out content. I could see that being a benefit within this kind of space. So
Mhm.
it's definitely piqued my interest and getting me out of my comfort zone, like I kind of mentioned. But uh, I sometimes I guess I'm not the best at really thinking ahead. I just with Project Forward, I'm like, hey, this seems great. Seems like a good way to to get to network even more within the Paces community, and so just kind of rolling with what he comes up with the homework and trying to, I guess, get myself out there and anyway, try some new things. Yeah, I honestly didn't even really use social media until getting into Gator.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that I still am not sure how to even do within like Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, I've had the same. Like 6 months ago, I had never thought I'd be doing like a podcast or doing anything on social media. I was like, well, I'll just do this business and do it behind the scenes.
Right.
Just, but yeah, I guess I realized that I'll be able to grow it faster. From what I've heard, I'll be able to grow it a lot faster with being like having a presence.
Right.
And one thing that I also recently um, was kind of intimidating to start a podcast because it seems so saturated. It seems like everyone's doing one nowadays. But I heard this. So Ryan Pineda, I really like that guy. He does a lot of content. He's
Yeah.
like a Christian entrepreneur. But he recently said something that I thought was pretty interesting. He said you can't compete with unique. He said like everyone has kind of their own something that someone else can't really replicate. So I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, no, that's
Uh,
good because I, I listen to a lot of podcasts myself, and so and thinking about doing that, I'm like, I don't have anything to add or to offer, but um, yeah, I know. I think that's a good outlook for sure. Just
mhm.
you don't know, I guess, until you start putting it out there, and I'm sure there's you know certain folks that will respond to what you have to say or your experience and
Yeah, I think everyone's story will resonate with some people. So
right.
yeah, I looks like we're wow, that time went fast. We're at close to 20 minutes now,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
awesome.
to end it like with some kind of actionable tip. So one thing this podcast I want to do is try to empower other like entrepreneurs to take a step to get started. What would you like? Is there a certain tip or something you would have for someone to just get started, take action?
Yeah, yeah, it's actually talking with you and seeing when you were you put your post that you were starting your podcast. I talking with you a little bit, and then there was another Gator member I was chatting with just this. I think it was just last week, right? We were talking, and anyway, that the own your future challenge that Pace had us do
Mhm.
in Project Forward, and there was the one lady, and it's terrible, I forget her name, but she mentioned just taking action, taking, how did she put it, imperfect action,
Mhm.
just get going, and that really kind of resonated with me because I like to overanalyze and overanalyze some more, and then think about it and come back and overanalyze again. So just reiterating that, and talking with you guys about it, just I know it's not going to be perfect, but just get going and kind of figure it out and fine tune it as you go.
Mhm.
So that would be those were just some thoughts I had recently, and yeah, I think that's been really kind of helping me just get going. Like, dude, it's not going to be perfect, just do it.
Yeah, I love that. That's right because it's I have the same problem. I just really overanalyze things and
Yeah,
don't actually do the thing. So yeah, I
right.
love that. And is there one certain book that you've read that kind of like an entrepreneur or real estate book that you've read, or maybe even a couple, two or three? Because it's sometimes hard to pick just one, but you
Right.
have one or two or three that you would recommend reading.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. You always hear it. Everybody says it, but it just changed my mindset when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, years ago. That one really just shifted my mindset. And, I love that one, and it was good for mindset. But then, it like doesn't give you, at least from what I remember, the way I, took it in, it felt like it didn't give me like specific, like actionable steps to like do it, and just kind of motivated me to be like, oh, I need to think about things differently. So then, like, Set for Life, that one was a more recent one that I read that really kind of, it's by Scott Trench. He's on Bigger Pockets, but that one gives you lots of just good actionable steps to to kind of pursue financial independence, and so I like that one. And then there's a bunch of the classics that everybody mentions. Um, what's the one by Napoleon Hill? Shoot, I'm spacing the name of the book
Grow
now.
Rich.
Well, yeah, yep,
Yeah, that's
that
one.
one, and like the uh, Richest Man in Babylon. That one's, anyway. Those are all good. It's just kind of getting in that right mindset to pursue it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never heard of Set for Life and Richest Man in Babylon. I haven't read either, so I'm definitely going to check those out. But yeah, well, appreciate you jumping on here today and just having a conversation. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Didn't seem like 20 minutes at all to me. So
No, that was quick. Yeah, thanks for having me. It was good to get on here and chat for sure.
yeah, well, thanks, Kenny. We'll chat with you next time.
Okay, thanks, man. See you, Kyle.